morning, Shamstars. Welcome to class. Today we will continue with our chapter. We are doing chapter number 3, Electoral Politics, and today we will cover following topics, that is polling, counting of votes, what make election in India democratic. So let us start with the chapter. Now we start to understand polling and counting of votes. First we understand what is polling. On the day when the voters cast or poll their vote is called as election day. Every person whose name is on the voters list can go to a nearby polling booth and cast his or her vote through a secret ballot. Once the voter goes inside the booth, the election officials identify him or her, put a mark on the voter's finger and allow him to cast his vote. An agent of each candidate is allowed to sit inside the polling booth and ensure that the voting take place in a fair way. Earlier, voting was done by putting a stamp on the ballot paper. A ballot paper is a sheet of paper on which the names of the contesting candidates along with party name and symbols are listed. Now, electronic voting machine, that is EVMs, are used to record votes. The machine shows the name of the candidate and the party symbol. Now we talk about the counting of votes. Once the polling is over, all the EVMs are sealed and taken to a secure place. A few days later, on a fixed date, all the EVMs are opened and the votes secured by each candidate are counted. The candidate who secures the highest number of votes from a constituency is declared elected. Next topic is what makes election in India democratic. There are many factors which ensure that elections held in India are democratic. An independent body, that is Election Commission, responsible to conduct elections is formulated in the Constitution of India. The President of India appoints the Chief Election Commission. The CEC is neither answerable to the government nor the President. If we talk about the Independent Election Commission, it enjoys the same kind of independence that the judiciary enjoy. As we say that the Chief Election Commission is appointed by the President of India, but once appointed, he is not answerable to even the President or the government. There are some functions, or we can say some powers of Election Commission. First, it takes decision on every aspect of conduct and control of election, right from the announcement of election to the declaration of result. Second, it implements the code of conduct and punishes any candidate or party that violate it. Third, during the election period, the Election Commission can order the government to follow some guidelines to prevent use and misuse of governmental power to enhance its chance to win election or to transfer some government officials. Fourth, when on election duty, government officers work under the control of the Election Commission and not the government. Fifth, when election officials come to the opinion that polling was not fair in some booths or even an entire constituency, they order a repoll. Then come the acceptance of election outcomes. The outcome of election is the final test of the free and fairness of it. If elections are not free or fair, the outcome always favor the powerful. In such a situation, the ruling party do not lose elections. Usually, losing party does not accept the outcomes of a rigid elections. The outcomes of India elections speak for itself. The ruling party routinely lose election in India both at the national and state level. In the US, sitting elected representative rarely loses an election, but in India, about half of the sitting MPs or MLAs lose elections. Except some disputed elections, the electoral outcomes are usually accepted by the defeated party as people's verdict. Next, we talk about challenges to free and fair election. Candidates and party with a lot of money may not be sure of their victory, but they do enjoy an unfair advantage over smaller parties and independents. Some candidates with criminal records are able to secure party tickets from major parties due to their connection political. Some families tend to dominate political parties. A tendency for dynastic rule is very common. Smaller parties and independent candidates suffer a huge disadvantage compared to bigger parties in terms of money power and organizational support. Elections offer only little choice to ordinary citizens. All the major parties are quite similar to each other, both in policies and practice. These challenges exist not only in India but also in many established democracies. This is a matter of concern for all who believe in democracy. This is the reason due to which there is demand of reform in our electoral system by citizens, social activists and organizations. Thank you, students. That's all for today. If there is any kind of doubt, feel free to ask, or you can drop your queries on Google Classroom. Take care. Thank you.